What's up, y'all? This is Ro again, back at it again with another video with your weekly orbit report. And this is the ending of September, going into October, week 4 of September, week 5, whatever the fuck you want to say. Now, this week is interesting. I don't know if y'all seen the news about what's going on with this meeting and all this extra war, the WW3 happening in the news and all this stuff happening. I've been saying that some shit gonna happen for a minute if you've been watching. So we shall see how this turns out, and I'm just hoping that everything turns out well. So let's get to it.
Cookie cutter pie, fuck a pan. 3D printer Glock, couple band. This a PC, it in my hand. Legal shooter, make them overstand. Half court, full court, state court, magistrate court, beat the light. Nigga, who is you? Cause I forgot hit the booth and I go cool, cock
Transit breakdown. September 28th. As the moon travels through Sagittarius in the AM, it comes into a sextile with Mercury in Libra. Now remember, a sextile is when two or more planets create a 60-degree angle between each other. This occurs typically between air and fire signs, or water and earth signs, as they have different elements and the same qualities, but the same gender. I'm sorry, different elements and qualities, but the same gender. Excuse me, I said it wrong. In this case, they are both masculine. Fire is the animus of masculine, and the air is the anima, right? Meaning air is a feminine and then fire is a masculine, right? This aspect creates a harmonious dynamic between our social processing power of communication through activism and the psyche of a philosopher who is seeking to nurture the emotions of the population. It's almost like our social interactions with others have a ascended psychological quality to them. We are paying more attention to our ability to feel into the political and higher thinking realms of life. This makes me think of what the politicians are going to come out with and say today. It may be riddled with something that sounds optimistic, but there is really a double agent ploy type of thing to get done what they want to get done, right? Now, I can see this occurring not just with politicians, but with people in general, like homies, people you walk into, etc., etc. Shortly after, the moon comes into a square with its nodes in Virgo and Pisces. When the moon squares its nodes, fated events occur. This can manifest itself as a new way of thinking, as a higher level of and state of consciousness that suddenly appears in a particular area of our lives. Right? The area shows up in depends on where Sagittarius is in your chart. And if you want to know more, go to haloreadings.net and I'll give you a reading, or you can DM me on here. We'll figure it out from there. Later that night, the moon inconjunct Jupiter in Cancer. Now remember, a inconjunct is a 150-degree angle, and that angle creates a sense of crisis. With the moon being inconjunct to a planet that is in its home sign of Cancer, it's almost like having a stranger in your house, and now your house is in the crossfire of your wrath. However, Jupiter and the moon are buddies in Cancer, as Jupiter is comfortable in Cancer. This looks like big emotional outbursts that create a crisis which cause major psychological disruptions in the force. May the force be with you, head ass. Make sure you're doing your best to balance yourself, especially if you have Sagittarius and Cancer placements. September 29th. As the moon travels through Sagittarius, it comes into a closing square with Saturn and Pisces at 27 degrees. Excuse me. Not 29. This is the ending phase of the activation that occurred on Monday, the 8th of September 2025. Around that day, you started a new cycle of understanding why you structure your beliefs the way that you do. This aspect is having us to find the meaning of such structure so we can change our perspective on the truth and supply internal justice to the parts of us that is self-sabotaging. Saturn is saying, do you really believe that? Do you really want that? It's time to prove it. Stand tall on your beliefs if you still actually desire them. If not, it's okay to switch it up. A few hours later, the moon goes into Capricorn and squares Neptune and Aries at 0 degrees. This is the second closing square that we are experiencing today. This one is more so saying, have we learned to overstand structure and discipline so well that we can challenge our original autonomy and authority? This will ultimately make us better humans. Later on in the day, this discipline and structure may prove to be a valuable tool because the moon in conjunct Uranus and Gemini, creating an erratic and overbearing emotion that is also grounded simultaneously, which is very weird. But it's an interesting dichotomy, right? The population may start to understand that everyone and anyone is on the earth plane surface level. So once Uranus gets into the mix, our population can experience more protests or truth to come out, or even a quick and painful choice of emotionally charged words. I do wonder how this is going to play out. Now, lastly, very late in the day, the moon squares the sun, which will start the integration process. We can now feel into the utilization of the population's productivity, devotion, and structure in respect to how and at what intensity we are consciously aware of society's social standards. The light that is shined upon the laws and political spheres is not being challenged by how the government feels about those laws and policies. I wonder if there will be some sort of law changes or upgrade during this 2-day transit of the moon in Capricorn. We shall see. September 30th. The moon travels through Capricorn, creating more opportunities to structure our emotions and understanding of the social landscape. I'm writing this a week in advance on the 26th, so I am unsure if this next statement will hold true and valid. But I think the meeting of the 800 generals happens today, right? With Sergeant Herg, something, I don't remember. This is a good day to ground our emotions in preparation for whatever outcome will come from this meeting. Later in the day, the moon comes into a sextile with the North Node and a trine with the South Node. If it is true that the meeting is today, there could be some heavy news that comes out from it. I would suspect that it will come out tomorrow once Mercury squares Jupiter, but we will talk about that in tomorrow's video. There is an easygoing energy occurring between the executing the limits of our emotions and where our beliefs are showing us about the direction we are fated to go. With the North Node, second house to the moon, we are putting an illusionary type of value onto the fated direction we are being directed towards. Almost like we are saying, hey, this is the right direction because I had a dream that said it was, but then you open the door and then there's a cliff on the other side. Now we have to have faith that the message we received in the dream is the right way to go. Our emotions are saying one thing, but there is something that is pulling us in a different direction. Every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back. I think the direction that you choose is the best direction, right? October 1st. Very early in the AM, the moon in Capricorn opposes Jupiter in Cancer. I'm seeing this as the population experiencing heightened and expansive emotions regarding relationships. And in this case, I think it's particularly political relationships, especially since the sun is in Libra and we are more consciously aware / being shown the political sphere. What's interesting is that this seems like a precursor to around noon when Mercury in Libra squares Jupiter in Cancer. This brings me to think that we are going to hear from that meeting today. Or there may be some other news regarding politics, activists, equality, ethics, or experiencing peace at any price. Experiencing peace at any price. I want to emphasize that one. There could be an announcement of war. Hopefully not. Probably not. But we don't know. We shall see. This holds more weight for me because around the same time, the moon in Capricorn squares Chiron in Aries, creating a harsh effect on the population's trauma-based emotions. it seems like there may be a fear defense mechanism being sparked today, especially since later on in the day, the moon conjuncts Pluto in Aquarius, activating a new 28-day cycle of a revolutionary and unconventional purification using power to control, heal, force, and oppress the population's ability to love, sympathize, and be caring. Man, this could be the beginning of the American Revolutionary War Part 2.0 in a different dimension. If it's true, and the world is going into war again, hopefully not, but I think it won't truly happen / be announced / be labeled as that until Saturn really goes into Aries with Neptune at the end of March of next year. I also don't think it would be a regular shoot, pow type of war either. I think it'll be more psychological, technological, biological type of warfare. We shall see how all this turns out, because it very well could be a nothing burger, because it could be a nothing burger. And I pray it's a nothing burger. I pray it's a nothing burger. Seriously. October 2nd. As the day progresses, Venus conjuncts the South Node in Virgo. Now remember, the last time we had the Sun and Mercury on the South Node, we had the event that happened on September 10th with Mr. Kirk. Okay? Now Venus is the planet of pleasure, love, fairness, beauty, cooperation, socialization, and psychological stability. In Virgo, she has an energy of being more meticulous, organizational, logical, and detail-oriented. Venus in Virgo can have a more difficult time expressing herself, as Virgo's detailed nature does not go well with the Libra energy of the Virgo, and Libra, because Libra makes a semi-sextile with Virgo. However, it can express more of the grounded value and stability and security aspects of the Taurus energy, or half of it, as Virgo is trine with Taurus, right? 60-degree angle. 120 degrees, excuse me. What I'm saying in so many words is that there may be a bit of uneasiness with this conjunction. It's a release of stability, a release of love, a release of security and beauty in a detailed, perfectionist, and critical fashion. This conjunction occurring right after the Moon-Pluto conjunction of yesterday makes me think that there will be an event or a feeling of like a slight despair, like a this situation is not easy type of vibe. However, it can also play out in the opposite direction as the beautification / cleanup of the collective energy that occurred from the Mr. Kirk event, or as that event, right? Now, actually tomorrow, around 1 a.m., the moon in conjunct the Venus and South Node conjunction, causing a crisis with the population's emotions about society at large. The order of the planetary events that have been occurring over the past 2 days or so make me think that this conjunction is not really positive as a whole. Now, it could be positive in your life in particular. However, on the planetary scale, like worldwide, globally, I don't think it's that positive, but we shall see what happens, because we don't ever know. October 3rd. As the moon travels through Aquarius, it comes into an inconjunct with Jupiter in Cancer. While Mercury in Libra opposes Chiron in Aries, this seems to me to be the collective trying to emote optimistically, but not being able to because of a crisis. Between the home and our neighbors, this could be a crisis between our home country and neighboring countries around the globe. There may be some news that there is a political figure whom experiences a traumatic event that goes on in the news, and that causes the crisis. It could be an activist or journalist or the media as a whole coming out with an article that causes fear to spread with the population on a large scale, maybe even global scale. As I'm writing this script, I'm not really liking this week's transits as a whole for the globe, right? For each person individually, it could be the best thing for this person, because it depends on the person's chart. However, as a collective, I'm not really liking it. No, not really feeling it, bro. Not really. Not feeling into it. I think this news is going to be on replay all day as well. It could be about how Mr. Kirk's graduation brought a divisive energy to the country and now it's spreading worldwide. Or it could be something completely different. I don't fucking know. We shall see. October 4th. As the moon travels through Aquarius, it moves into Pisces and creates a trine with Mars and Scorpio. So this is definitely a free-flowing energy. However, it doesn't mean it's a positive necessarily. We have to take into context the events occurring around this aspect. The past few days, the aspects have not been so easy. Now, I'm writing this in advance, so I don't know how it actually turns out. However, judging from the stars, it was a rough week. This aspect is the population believing and giving faith towards the harmonization of our controlling, manipulative, and healing desire for conflict. It's almost like the population has reconciled or come to terms with the events that have occurred and is now looking to or beginning to believe that there's a better tomorrow by using our own individual and collective intuitive and psychological abilities to overstand and bring into form from the other side of the veil the dream we want to experience. That was a mouthful. Now that I have said this out loud, it may be a positive/neutral transit. However, only time will tell. I will say that tomorrow will be something. There will be an event tomorrow occurring that seems to be a conflict or tension between reality and what we want to experience. Between our want to release our critical thought and love and pleasure and our faith that we can feel our way through the tsunami of excess liquidity coming from the other side of the veil. That I think is coming from this upcoming full moon in Aries on Tuesday, but we'll talk about that topic tomorrow and on later day. Okay. Energy theme of the week in this bitch. Now this week seems to be heavy on us. What kind of grammar is that? Seems to be heavy on us emotionally, based upon the news that we are consuming. Now, yes, we want to stay informed, especially as men or as protectors of the homes, right? However, it would be wise to not engulf ourselves in the news this week. Just a heads up. A quick glance 3 times a day, one in the AM, one midday, one at night can help alleviate emotional, psychological, and mental burnout from whatever the fuck comes out this week, okay? Doom scrolling this week can really cause some internal chaos if not done with discernment, intent, and spiritual protection. Protect your mental while still staying informed. All right? All right. Now, we're going to go through the signs. All right? We're going to go from Aries to Pisces. Aries. Now, for some reason, y'all don't watch these clips because I put them out during the week, but y'all don't really be paying attention. But with this one, I'll pay attention. All right? This Venus-South Node conjunction is in your 6th house of health, service, and routine. It's a release of or almost a decay of the pleasure centers of your health, service, and routine area of your life, okay? Pay attention to your gut this week as your gut feelings will be on one. They will be on one, all right? Letting you know what the fuck going on. You may experience a change in your enjoyment of your routines. You may experience being more critical on how you have been being of service to those around you. I know y'all don't necessarily think before y'all move, all right? But this week, I will make an honest attempt to do so, okay? Taurus. This Venus-South Node conjunction is happening in your 5th house, all right? Now, are you pregnant? Not sure? Get tested. Are you thinking about an abortion? Think long and hard. Have you experienced a decrease of pleasure and sex recently? This is the celestial bodies telling you to slow it down. Slow it down. I just dished your head ass. This may be a good time to put the sweets down as well. But more so sweets as in like gambling, speculating, sex from pleasure, etc. Not necessarily sugar, but put that down too. It's not good for your teeth and your body, etc. If you have kids, your children may even feel more distant or they may reject love from you for a second. Don't take it personally if that happens. Just keep up the good work, Taurus, all right? And keep moving. Gemini. This Venus-South Node conjunction is occurring in your 4th house. Give your mom a little more love this week, all right? Or whoever is a motherly figure to you. They may be a little more stressed out than normal. You may experience a decrease of love in the home with your legacy, okay? Potentially a decrease in the woman in your life nurturing you. I don't think it's on purpose necessarily. I think that they were just caught up in their own shit, right? If you're a male, I would check up on the woman in your life. If you're a woman, I would practice some meditation and self-care routines, especially if you're a Gemini lady. Heavy on the self-care routines. All right. I'm sorry, a Gemini lady with heavy Virgo placement. That's what I meant to say. Cancer. This Venus South Node conjunction is occurring in your third house. You may get into it or have a situation with a sister of yours or someone you call sister. There may be an opportunity that you had to travel somewhere, but it may not go the way you wanted to. Right? It may be canceled, or on a trip you may have to turn back or something like that. Right? I will check on the health of your vehicle before you travel this week. Excuse me. Check the oil, the tires, the windshield wipers, etc. Give your vehicle some love this week. Even if your vehicle is a skateboard, give it some love this week, all right? And take care of it. Also, if you need to brush up on some skills, it may be hard to do so, and there may be some setbacks. Just take it one step at a time. Leo. Now, Leo, this Venus South Node conjunction is occurring in your second house. You've been getting hit with a lot of financial transits lately, Leo. All right. I know the money looking funny, or it might be looking funny in a positive direction. Now, this to me feels like a decrease in capital, though. Maybe you're spending too much, or maybe your self-esteem drops because of an event that makes you more critical about yourself. If you don't have it to spend, Leo, don't spend it. If you don't need to go out, don't go out. It will help this week. Save that paper, baby. Virgo. Virgo, this Venus South Node conjunction is occurring in your house. Your house, your first house, all right? You may have a desire to stay away from sweets this week, or if you don't, I would start. Your style may change as well. You may be one to wear hoochie daddy shorts or something, and now someone says something that changes your mind about the short shorts, and now you want to wear pants or some shit. Bad example, but you get the fuck I'm saying. Something to that effect. This Venus in your sign transit, though, is making you more gorgeous to others, right? You utilize that to your advantage. Just be careful with overuse around Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, the end of the week, all right? The end of the work week. Libra. This Venus South Node conjunction is occurring in your 12th house. 21? I know your dreams have been more intense over the past like 2 weeks to a month or so, right? Also, the amount of people who have become silent enemies have also increased, and you probably don't even recognize that one. You may be getting something from someone who you may not know doesn't like you. Just be aware of those around you who seem like they are a good time or that they have your back, right? Now, if you've known them for years and years and years and years and years and you vetted them, that's one thing. But new niggas, they may carry a secret resentment or envy, etc. Also, if you have a dream around the end of the week, I would write that dream down in detail and analyze it because there may be some clues in that dream that can help you out. Scorpio head ass. Notice, I don't know why the fuck I did that. This Venus South Node conjunction is happening in your 11th house. Now, pause. Now, over the past few weeks, you've had some trouble with your friend groups or your accomplishments / rewards from what you accomplished in your career. This may be the week where you find out much needed information on who, what, why, how, where, all those words, things have transpired. You may already have an idea. However, I think that there will be even more that comes out. It could be about money. It could be about that your confidence is so high that someone feels some type of way about it, or you got so heavily acknowledged that people who feel like they deserve that award or something or that praise is coming out the closet. I suggest to keep your eyes, nose, and ears and all your senses wide open to energies that people project towards you this week, particularly during the end of the week. You may get some answers. Sagittarius. This Venus South Node conjunction is occurring in your 10th house. For some reason, I'm thinking this has something to do with a decrease in pay. Don't shoot the messenger. Or maybe a job of yours giving you a random bonus. I'm leaning more towards the former though. However, you never know what will actually happen. You may get a notice from your boss, like getting called to the principal's office. I think it'll be about money, pleasure, or it could even be them disobeying human resources orders and trying to hit on you. That may be weird if that happens, but it's something that can happen. Okay, and if that does happen, comment below because I want to know. Pay attention to your job this week so that you don't get caught off guard, particularly on Thursday. As if you probably noticed, for all the people who are watching the long form, it's this week, like the end of the week, Thursday, right? Capricorn. This Venus South Node conjunction is occurring in your ninth house. I suspect you are going to change your values on how critical and detailed you are in analyzing your philosophical processes, however you pronounce that. You may change the values around your health routine if you are taking a flight or long distance trip via car or motorcycle or plane or something. Make sure you got all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. You don't want to get in the air or the car or get far away and then realize you left your face cream or didn't pack enough underwear. All right, now you got to wash one, wear one, and all that crazy shit. If a teacher or mentor pops out and gives you some advice this week or some money or an opportunity, I would suggest to heed it and give it value, okay? The proper value deserves. Aquarius. This Venus South Node conjunction is occurring in your 8th house. So you have any long-term investments? Or do you have any long-term investments? Excuse me. Pay attention to those investments to make sure that they are operating properly. Also, if you are talking to somebody and it's getting serious, or if you're married or in an intimate relationship with somebody, they may give you some unfortunate news this week. It could be breakup. It could be you find out they stole some money from you and all the reason why those investments decreased or some shit like that. It could be positive too, but whatever. Also check on your moms, grandmothers, aunties, the women in your life. If they are sick, give them some love. You never know when they will leave the earth. I'm not saying that they will graduate this week. I'm just saying give them love because they may need it this week. Pisces. This Venus South Node conjunction is happening in your 7th house. Hey. For some reason, I see this as a breakup. Not gonna hold you, Pisces. From a relationship, business, platonic, or romantic. I'm not seeing this as a positive reunion of type of vibe, especially if you have a Pisces rising. It's possible for it to be a more positive transit because it really depends on your individual chart. It can be a person of interest confessing her love for you. That is possible. It could be a friend giving you some money because they see how much you have been working on something. That's also possible. Either way, be on the lookout in your relationship towards the end of the week. Relationships, business, platonic, romantic relationships. Particularly on Thursday, maybe even Friday. In conclusion, the crowd goes wild. This meeting that's supposed to happen, I don't know what's going to come from it. All right. However, hopefully it's nothing wild. Okay, Venus is typically a beneficial planet. However, on the South Node, which causes a release of energy, it may be a decay of Venus themes. On top of that, the Mercury opposing Chiron and squaring Jupiter, while the Moon is a conjunct Jupiter, and then the Moon Pluto conjunction. It just seems like there's a lot of motherfucking heavy energy this motherfucking week on this bitch. All right, I know it's been seeming like that for the past few weeks, right? But the stars right now are kind of in a configuration that brings harsh energy. You can't even see it in the events on the media, you know what I'm saying? And I've been saying for a minute that, the American Revolutionary War, similar shit has been happening. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's some psychological warfare being played out right now, and things might not be happening the way that's shown in the population. It may not be shown the way that it's supposed to be, the way that it's actually happening, okay? And the population may take it as this is happening, but this is really happening, right? It's not a catch-22. Bait and switch, right? And I don't know what the fuck about to happen, y'all. Hopefully it's a nothing burger, but we shall see. For those who have been here for a minute. I appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much. For those who are just joining, I thank you guys so much. Make sure to comment, like, comment, share, subscribe. Help me out so I can help you out. Go to my website, haloreadings.com. So, wow, no. haloreadings.net. .net. Don't go to .com. haloreadings.net and get a reading from me. And then also join the Discord. And in the Discord, I go over a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't talk about online. Okay. The links are in the description below. If you're on TikTok, the link is in my bio. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you guys so much. With that being said, man, I appreciate you. I love you guys. And until next time, peace out.